mysterious place, and life itself is a mystery. The Michael Decon program. It's amazing. And now, Michael Decon and Mike Hideous. Mysterious place, and life itself is a mystery. The Michael Decon program is amazing. And welcome back to another edition of the Michael Decon program. I am your host, Michael Decon, and I am dangerous. Nice to meet you. This is a very different kind of show, a place where we don't feel so alone. Oh yes, your thoughts and opinions you will hear today may not be the ones you share, and of course this is an open discussion. Joining us this evening is Mr. Dean Ryan. Dean is an investigative journalist, producer, and TV radio host. Dean is also a panelist, writer, producer, and creator of a show called The Real Deal Report, a popular fast-paced news program featuring Mike Barrett, Jim Fetzer, The Freight Train, as you know him here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us into your hearts and into your minds. Here we are again on a night like this. Glad to be back, glad the wait is over. I'm hoping you're doing well wherever the hell you are, ladies and gentlemen, and of course it's good to see you in the chat room, and hello to those out there who listen to the podcast rendition of this program. And yes, we are running a little bit late here, so let's bring in Mr. Mike Hideous, who I believe is currently waiting right now. There you are. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you holding up?
I'm doing all right, and hello to everybody out there.
Very nice. Now, let's bring in Mr. Dean Ryan, who I believe is patiently waiting as well, and it's been a long time. Dean, I apologize for the wait. How are you, sir?
Hey, Michael. It's great to be back. It's been 3 years, and I'm starting to believe either two things. I'm either only on the show when a crisis is amongst us, or I'm one of your leap year guests. I'm not sure yet. One of them.
I know, right? I do apologize. I should have invited you in a lot sooner, my friend.
Well, next time it'll have to be on better terms with the world, but I'm glad to be here because these are crucial times. These are very important times, and what a time to be alive.
Yeah, these are very troubling times, and of course, Dean, so much to get into here with you, but before we do, Dean, can you briefly tell us a thing or two about you in case there are newer listeners out there?
Sure. Yeah. Where do I start? I've been in the news media industry for almost a decade now, and I've taken some time off the past 2 years, got into film, Yeah, let's just, for starters, I started with InfoWars back in 2013, and then produced some great things over there. Went to Coast after that, 21st Century Wire, Natural News, and had the chance to work with all the greats and learned a lot. Did some reporting behind the scenes, but really worked my way into the business through the background and as a producer, and traveled the world and came here to California like anyone for St. Patrick's Day, March, and been living in Dallas, but got stuck here on Armageddon Eve, where I've been stuck in LA, front row seats to this great Armageddon show.
Right.
And in doing so, Michael, I've decided to come back to news media and give the wonderful people daily reporting the best of my whereabouts wherever I am, but capabilities, yeah.
Very nice. And of course, you have the news show right now with Jim Fetzer and Mike Barra.
Yes, I do. I've been friends with both of them for a number of years, and I thought we'd just do a few shows talking about the virus and the anomalies going around, and it turned into this Real Deal Report phenomenon, and people around the world are watching and getting their news from us, and it was just what a humbling experience and an incredible experience to do the show with two great legends like Mike and Jim.
No doubt. And of course, Dean, what was it that intrigued you to go down this path as thoroughly as you have?
What intrigued me is I've always had an issue with authority, I guess, since childhood.
Right.
I've always been the marching to the beat of my own drum and following the art of nonconformity. And there's a great book that details what that's all about, and that's kind of been me. And I just been wanting to travel and just a contrarian, I guess, at heart by nature, not by practice.
Very nice. And of course, I do like Jim very much. He's been a part of the program for a very long time. I call him the freight train, by the way.
You would never know Jim is 79 years young. The man has the energy of like 10 25-year-olds. He just goes and goes. He's a true Marine and quite an inspiration and hero of mine on a personal level. And I strive to match his integrity and his courage one day.
By the way, did you just say he was 79?
79 years young, but
wow.
It's just an incredible burst of energy, and to do this with him on a daily basis is just an honor and a privilege. Yeah.
Jeez, Mike, he's 79, Mike. Can you even believe that?
Wow. The guy, sometimes he doesn't even breathe, and he can talk for about 30 minutes without taking a breath.
That's right. Lungs of steel.
Yeah, you know what? I hope I have the energy that he has at his age. So good for him.
Yes, he's a gem, no doubt. And now, Dean, we can jump right into all the latest. And you have some reports from Los Angeles the last time I checked. Is that correct, Dean, with these riots?
Well, absolutely. It's so just interesting. I give the analogy, guys, of if you're a surfer, and I grew up in Huntington Beach, Surf City, USA.
Right.
You want to catch the best waves. You go early in the morning, like at 6. That's like a true surfer right there. And that's kind of how we've been at the Real Deal Report. We've been ahead of the curve on this wave where we're reporting things, and then we're seeing those things come around 3 to 4 weeks later. And it's a stunning experience to witness all that. And I made a report last night. I did a special report. And by the way, it took 2 hours to upload 6 minutes. That is quite suspicious on YouTube, but that's another story. As soon as I was uploading it, I had information and just found out that LA riots had just occurred in Minneapolis. And I said, oh my God, I just talked about this intuitively on the report I'm uploading. So I had to redo the report, re-upload it. And this is what's happening currently is due to the George the George, I forgot his last name, the information overload. But due to the
George Floyd, I believe.
Oh, Floyd. Oh, yeah.
I,
Okay.
Thank you. I want to say Lynch for some reason, but that's someone else.
That's okay.
The homicide that took place in Minneapolis has sparked a nation outcry that the Georgia homicide was hoping to spark, but never really quite made it past the average mark. This one hits the spot because the victim is echoing the "I cannot breathe" phrase.
Right.
And it's hitting a nerve across the country right now. It has struck a nerve, if not the world. And, don't doubt that this is not being exploited by the deep state, if not planted by the deep state. What kind of cop in his right mind would do that with cameras and people watching in this current climate? When you have race baiters who call themselves governors and mayors wanting this thing to happen for a long time. They couldn't make it happen with Jussie Smollett. Well, they're making it happening right now, and they're fanning the flames as we speak.
I'm glad you brought that up. By the way, looking back now at these riots that occurred, I don't think they are as monumental as the 1992 Los Angeles riots that occurred back in the day out there. Now, those were some real riots, my God.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that too for a long time. I just, never really learned what paramilitary meant before. I never understood counterintelligence, all that stuff. So, yes, they were the real deal compared to these ones, which this could be, it's still in its infancy.
Yeah, true.
But and we hope it doesn't go further. But, we have to prepare ourselves if it does. So I got into the LA riots research in 2013 while I was still at Inforce, oddly enough, and I recorded an LAPD officer with a hidden camera talking to me openly about that. And this is what I found out, that these guys in the LAPD, they want the riots. He said, quote, "We cannot wait for the riots to come here to LA. We want to go back to our houses in Santa Clarita, and just watch them on television. They want this." Now, what I found out, Michael, in this research is a very key point. It's not just the fact that the cops stood down in '92 or told to stand down by Police Chief Daryl Gates, is the following, and this came to me from SWAT intelligence. The state officials, the police, they were allowing Muslim Brotherhood to come into California via LAX International Airport, infiltrate, and start the fires in unison, and start them at the same time strategically, so it looks like it's a big event. The cataclysmic event that we see in movies. Well, Michael, the exact same thing is happening right now. It's on camera. Guys in paramilitary lighting fires, throwing rocks in windows, just wreaking havoc. And this cop, they already had a photo of this cop in a MAGA hat within hours after identifying him. I wouldn't be surprised if this cop is not even a cop and just some kind of deep state black ops guy, which I believe that's going to turn out to be, because they do use the same actors. And I don't say that flippantly or just freely, but we are dealing with something that's bigger than the riots and is going to lead up to something which I have coined Operation Martyr. And I'm sure we'll get into it later, but this is the ignition. This is the event they want to pave the way to something that's bigger than many people would realize right now.
Understood.
If I may just say real quick, there's two things to this. First of all, I don't agree at all when anybody riots and destroys other people's property. That serves no purpose whatsoever. Particularly if you go back to the '92 riots, when they destroyed their neighborhoods as well as other people's property. That was wrong. I do not agree with that. You want to riot and protest? Well, I should say that again. If you want to protest, do it the right way, number one. Number two, my question for you, Mr. Ryan, is this. Why are you saying that these cops want the riots to start? I don't quite understand. But can you explain that?
Well, I'm not saying that personally. I'm relaying what a veteran cop told me in 2013 while I was in downtown LA, which I was just like you. I was taken aback by it. I said, wow, I would have never thought, you know.
Did he explain to you what he meant, though?
Pardon?
I'm sorry. Did he explain to you what he meant by that?
Well, based on recollection, I think the sentiment was they really don't care for a lot of the people they have to deal with, you know, whether it's gangbangers, low income people, just domestic issues, and all the violent nature of LA. These people don't like, and they can't wait for these people, you know, in a way to kill each other. And
I get it. Okay.
Right. And, you know, a lot of these new cops, too, we got to understand, have been militarized during the Obama era of, you know, hiring a lot of these guys that are Iraqi and Afghanistan war veterans that have PTSD, that, you know, did nefarious things overseas and get promoted here. And they adopted the military tactics of the Israeli army, hence knee on the neck, brutality, and there was a reason for that. And Obama was trying to federalize, and he did to a certain extent. He was trying to federalize every police precinct in America, to federalize them and then hand it over to the United Nations Security Council. That was his goal.
Right. And Dean, by the way, you were mentioning, I think you were referring to some man who was apparently instigating the riots himself. There's videos of this gentleman breaking windows at an AutoZone. Is that the gentleman you're referring to?
Yeah, there's a gentleman yes, that's one of them.
Okay, well that guy definitely is a Fed, no doubt. That's not a regular person, because there's a gentleman who gets in his face, and at that point it seems like he's sort of telling him, well, the dark-skinned gentleman, he's telling him, you know, if he wants to go, which means if he wants to throw down, and any other normal person wouldn't hesitate to sort of get into it. But this guy clearly is there just to cause this sort of trouble out there, just to loot and to incite a riot. Any normal person probably would have maybe even pushed this gentleman away from him. So I'm thinking this guy, his intent was clearly on one issue and not really dealing with this other gentleman like a normal person would.
Sure. You know, a lot of the cops' tactics, too, with protests they don't want happening. You know, I had a protest 4 years ago to really be an advocate for tiny homes for the homeless here in LA, because at the time there was a serious issue in downtown LA, and at the time Mayor Garcetti was opposing us. He had unmarked cars try to hit one of my colleagues involved with that mission. And what these people do, what the cops do, is they'll dress up like one of the protesters, do some heinous things or shout violence to get it shut down, or to make the opposition look bad. In fact, if you know Jack Prosabic, whatever his name is on OAN, during the election, he went to a rally or a media gathering where Melania Trump was, dressed as a liberal or a Bernie bro, as they call him. And
really?
Dressed as a liberal? How does a liberal dress?
Well, you get a balloon and you rub your hair with it, and then you're a Bernie bro. I mean, you know, I'm no fashionista, but anyways, so Jack did that, and then he started saying, you know, very heinous things at Melania to make Bernie look bad. And then Hillary did the same thing at Trump rallies, had people dressed as another Bernie bro to say kill Trump or fight Trump and beat up Trump to make Bernie look bad. So Bernie had a bad time in 2016.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, these things happen. These things, it's like one bad sitcom, really, the whole thing.
Yeah, it seems that way. It really does seem that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we're all on this bad, evil version of Seinfeld, and just we're a part of it. We're not just watching it, and there's no commercial breaks.
Right. And of course, I'm sure both you and Mike have seen the footage, the police footage.
I saw it today.
Would assume, okay, you saw it, and so did you, Dean, right?
Now, if we're talking about the CHP running over one of the rioters, I did see that one on the 101 freeway. Yes.
Oh no, I'm going back to the man who was allegedly resisting arrest.
The man who was killed.
Yeah, the man who was killed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Flynn,
I did
Floyd,
see that.
Floyd.
Yeah, Floyd. Right. Yeah, you know, in the video, the man, from what I could tell, he was not resisting arrest. I've seen the latest video that was released as well. It looked like he fell to the ground, and that's when police got on top of him. Now, I must say, I know plenty of law enforcement out there. Many of them listen to the show, matter of fact. And I respect all of law enforcement out there, no doubt. And with that said, I also know not everyone wearing the uniform keeps their noses clean. And there's plenty of corruption in every branch of law enforcement and government. All of you know that by now. All of us have seen that by now, rather. But with that said, in this situation, we saw a police with his knee pressed against the back of George Floyd's neck. And of course, we've all heard in the footage, and he's saying he can't breathe. And bystanders were telling the police officer to check his pulse and all sorts of other things. And my goodness.
You can actually see that guy just like nod out. Like,
you could see that happening, yes.
Yeah, he just passes out. What I'm curious to both of you, do either one of you have any idea what this Floyd character did?
Apparently it's for forgery, right?
It's for counterfeit dollar at a liquor store, something to that effect, which I guess in this day and age involves, as punishment, it involves a knee to your neck. And that's unfortunately what happened to Mr. Floyd. And may God rest his soul. And, you know, but it's just a matter of time before this kind of event would have happened. And, you know, I might say that it really is, in my mind, just a very timely event when one of the biggest scandals has just broken out in the past 2 weeks, and that's Obamagate. And, you know, if Obama, I mean, Obama was probably praying that the mothership would have came down and just, you know, just anything for a distraction, UFOs, nuclear war.
Right.
But
what better thing than a race war?
A race war, right.
Event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
We're due for another one. You know, we always go, things come in cycles, Dean. You know that.
Well, you can really tell the nature and just how organic something isn't by the reaction and coverage of the mainstream media.
Absolutely.
And that very thing, this media, this corporate media, that's not our media, has gone gangbusters just like the Juicy Smollett, and almost were prepared because they are foreign operatives. They are CIA operatives, and they're China communist-backed operatives as well. And that's what this event is, to me, in my analysis and opinion and research.
Right. Could the police officer have lifted his knee and just placed it in the middle of the back of the gentleman? Sure.
Well, I don't think that was his intention. I think he was there to serve a purpose for a bigger event. And that bigger event was to regain the narrative for the deep state. When Obama's free falling and sinking like a stone, when the Chinese government has been outed worldwide as the original carriers of the virus and creators, when all their proxy states like New York and California and proxy states like Venezuela are getting outed, and people are figuring out, oh, that 5G Huawei, yeah, that's giving us cancer. That's getting dismantled and kicked out of the United States, Australia, England. And people are figuring out, wow, China have really infiltrated almost every country because they are the leaders, the head of a one world government called the multipolar world order, headed by China and Israel. And that's exactly what people are figuring out. And I'm glad that my show, like The Real Deal Report, is leading the charge of a wave called truth, and people are figuring out with their own discernment how this world really works.
Very nice. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. I just got to say, when we were talking about how the officer had his knee on Floyd's neck.
Right.
I don't understand why they couldn't either I mean, I'm pretty sure he had handcuffs on because when they flipped him over,
right,
when they put him on the gurney, his arms were still behind his back. So he's got cuffs on, number one. Why couldn't they just pick him up and put him in the back of the car?
Good question. Why didn't they do that? They could have easily done that. And, you're taught, from what I know, not to choke anyone as a police officer. And that's what I've been told by other officers out there. So this is a mess. Especially
since that incident in New York when that big guy, whose name escapes me, was in a stranglehold.
Yeah, he was
or
also
a chokehold.
Right.
And he died. So after that happened, it was a really big deal. No longer choking potential or alleged criminals.
Well, it could have been avoided, in my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
Very easily.
I mean, once the guy starts saying, "Help, I can't breathe, please stop pushing on my neck," that's a definite indication. I mean, if that's not like black and white, I don't know what is.
It is a black and white issue, but I don't know if people realize the strength, the power, and influence of one of the greatest lobbyists and most powerful lobbyists in the United States, and that's the police unions. They will protect their own over righteousness or moral fiber or ethics more than anything. And when you got that power of a union behind you, just like priests have the power of the Vatican that concealed all their crimes for how many decades? It's
Hundreds.
An institution. Yeah. And that's what we're dealing with, is the power of a great union or a great strong union like the police union, and they will protect at all costs. And if in fact this guy is even a real cop and not some some stuntman put in there by Obama Incorporated themselves to just coincidentally, perfect timing, change the narrative, make it about race again, what are the odds? So that's it's uncanny, really.
It really is.
You know what, Mr. Ryan? I'm sorry, Michael.
I was just saying,
quick,
it really is. Go ahead.
If I may just say, and I'm sure you'd probably agree with what I'm going to tell you, but with all the cameras that are out in people's hands, every single person has a cell phone with a camera in it, and everything gets recorded and put online almost instantly after it happens. And that is exactly what happened here. So it seems to me that more people, or at least the police, would be a little bit more cautious in the things that they do and not be able to get away with corruption when you've got so many people with their eye on you. Yes, no?
Well, I mean, absolutely. You would think that there's some restraint. That's why this event makes absolutely no sense to me for an alleged counterfeit at a liquor store. So you're going to kill someone. You're going to put your knee on someone's jugular so they can't breathe and kill them, knowing that everybody's filming you. I mean, this thing, I'm going to just say what it is. This thing smells like a false flag at the core of its soul. This makes absolutely no sense, but it makes every sense in the world if you knew how do we ignite riots across the country. Because, Michael, they have released 3,500 inmates in California alone starting in March. Some of them went all the way up to death row, releasing them because, well, we don't want them to get the flu. I mean, COVID-19, sorry.
Right.
Oh, my God.
That's true. That's what they did out here.
Can you believe that?
Oh, I could believe it. I could believe it. Our state has lost its mind a long time ago here in California.
So Michael, let me get this straight. Let me get this straight, Michael. If I reopen my business, which only essential businesses get reopened. That's so communist stylistic talkings. I don't even know where to start. But if I open my business, I go to jail because I want to provide for my family.
You might.
I need to feed my kid. I go to jail. But But if I'm a serial killer and I'm on death row and I'm a serial rapist too and I just kill everybody, well, we don't want him to get the sniffles or the COVID-19. So we're going to let him freely go. In fact, we'll just drop him off somewhere, give him a Greyhound bus pass. Here you go.
Yeah, that works.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
And of course, you can add 700 more inmates to that who are being transferred. 3,500 inmates. And let me tell you guys, 2 weeks ago, I got an eyewitness sending me a report saying, Dean, I must tell you, you're absolutely right. Because I've been speaking about this guy since March, since week 1. She goes, I must tell you, there's 30 felon-looking men just roaming the streets in white beater shirts in Santa Monica in a very affluent neighborhood with nowhere to go, just roaming around, all shaved heads. And I said, well, yeah, that's a little suspicious. So they're getting ready. And also, in addition to where I am in West LA, the past 2 weeks have been nothing but firecrackers, fireworks just in random places in an affluent neighborhood where I am, and pipe bombs, cherry bombs, late at night. One of them sounded like a grenade. I mean, there's some things that are getting ready to start. And I'm not saying that's the telltale sign, but I've had friends of mine tell me the same thing they're hearing in their part of LA County. So there's something brewing. There's something brewing from all this. That's right. And of course, I must say, Mike and Dean, these inmates that were moved around, 700 inmates that were transferred to dozens of other prisons, according to this report here from Los Angeles Times. I mean, they're moving them around like pedophiles now.
Moving them around where? Where? I don't even understand it.
To other prisons, apparently. And I think that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea.
Well,
go ahead, Mike. What were you going to say?
I'm sorry. Now, Michael, I know you live in California.
That's right.
Mr. Ryan, do you also live in California?
Well, I've been living in Dallas, but I was stuck here during the lockdown. I came here
Okay.
I should have never came here, but in a way I'm glad I did. It's the duality of it all.
Well, California is awesome, though, Dean. I mean, I don't give a shit what anyone says. I love California.
I do too. Yeah.
If you don't like it, fuck you. That's the way I see it. I love it.
Mike, I'm from here.
I'm just saying, I'd love it here. I'm just, I don't agree with the political views from most of my fellow Californians, but, I'd love it here. And Mike, my goodness, my state has lost its mind, Mike, in all honesty.
That's what I was going to say. And again, I respect that you love living where you live, and that's cool. I get it. That's cool. But I got to say, I don't know how. All right, let's not. I'm not going to generalize you, but let's just say in general, other people.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know how other people could live there with what's going on. I mean, it's just it. I really think it's crazy what is happening in California.
Before I forget, I was going to say Dean is seeking refuge out here in California. He's a refugee.
You might get a $500 trip.
Go ahead, Dean.
Well, it's interesting. I'm from California. I'm from Orange County. So initially, I wanted nothing but to get out after I found out the lockdown was going to be more than 2 weeks. And then I found out the borders getting back to Texas, where I'd been for a good group of months, were not allowing us back. And I said, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because I came out here to see a girl for St. Patrick's Day, which, totally went to hell. That's a whole other story.
Sorry to hear that, Dean.
Another show.
My God.
But, yeah, me too.
Bummer.
The lesson of this whole coronavirus thing is never spend St. Patrick's Day with a girl you don't know that well, or you did, but it's been a few years, and then you wind up screwed like me. But the point is,
Amen.
It's really a life lesson. The point is, in a way, though, I am glad I stayed because it made me go to my roots, which is reporting and journalism, which,
right.
what I did in college in broadcast journalism, and I've been doing it off and on for the past decade, but it made me face my fears and my demons and rediscover who I truly am in a sense. And also it made me appreciate and rediscover my hometown of Orange County and what they have done, with the sheriff to reject and resist Chairman Newsom and his mandates and stick up for the constitutional rights of the citizens of Orange County. To me, I want to cry. That's like my Brexit in a way. Not to take anything away from the people of the UK, who
Sure.
I love, but I love Orange County, and I have been a true Orange County lover, and just I appreciate it more than ever. And this place, California, this is the gateway. This is the jugular of America, of influence, agriculture, commerce, tourism. This is it, and it's worth fighting for, because if we lose this battle here in California and we give it to China, which they have a good portion of it, no doubt, then we lose the soul of a nation, which begins in California, because this is more Americana than anything, and we need to fight for it and get it back to the righteous owners of this, and that's Americans, everybody.
I love that. See, Dean, there was some good that came from COVID-19. You had a moment of clarity, I see.
Well, along with a lot of fear and sleepless nights and scatterbrain moments and just anxiety with the occasional shoulder and back pain, you're absolutely right. It is nonstop. It's nonstop. Yeah.
It's nonstop. It is, Dean. But I mean, even though this has been terrible for everyone out there, there has been some good that has come from COVID-19. The fact that we are starting to realize what's really important in life and what really isn't, Dean. And also the reality that things might not go back to normal, Dean. That's something I see lots of individuals out there, lots of Americans right now. They're having a difficult time to even accept that the possibility that their jobs that they once had may not even be there once they get back, Dean.
Well, there's a lot of truth to what you just said, Michael, and I'll throw myself in the mix.
Go ahead.
I was doing a film at the time. This whole thing happened, and when I stopped here, I was doing a film actually, in full transparent with Roger Stone. Actually, I was in Florida.
Nice.
And then I went to Wisconsin actually to see Jim Fetzer and do some shoots with him. Then I went to Chicago, and then I came here just to do the St. Patrick's Day thing, and that's when all hell broke loose. I was actually on my way to Acapulco, Mexico, to film a psychedelic yoga retreat in the sun and do some filming.
That sucks.
And everything I was going to do for the year is totally null and void.
Gone. Wow.
Right. All the pitch meetings and funding in this film and that film and TV projects just completely gone. And I'm not anything unique to that. I'm sure everyone in the entertainment business, independent contractors for that matter, are all in the same boat as me. I just said, well, I'm not going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs and, pray for a savior. I'm going to do what I got to do to survive.
Good.
Do it the best way I know how. So I immediately, I do what anyone would have done at that time. I called Jim Fetzer.
Very nice. But Dean, we have to learn to adapt and evolve, Dean. I mean, really, that's what America's all about, and that's what life is all about: evolving and adapting to whatever situation you're in. And again, Dean, a lot of these jobs, a lot of Americans out there will not have a job to go back to. That's the reality that we face, Dean. And I'm telling you, this is the time during the whole shelter in place. This was the time to have that moment of clarity and think about what you might have to be forced to do, Dean, if shit really hits the fan. And it seems like we're pretty much close at that tipping point right now in 2020.
Well, you know what? The guys, the bands of the 1980s that were in hair metals, you know what? They had to deal with the same thing. When grunge came along, they lost their jobs.
True.
Nobody, I felt bad for Bret Michaels and Poison at the time, but they had to get over it.
Amen.
And had to do the best they can. So I'm not saying I'm Bret Michaels or anything, but
Sure.
what I'm saying is that I'm not going to roll over like a lot of these European countries like Sweden.
Good.
And I'm not going to roll over and grin and bear it like a lot of people in London either. You know, this country was founded on gold, guns, and, you know, blood,
Right.
and just fighting. The Native American spirit that's within me is not going to stand for whatever the Communist Chinese Party's puppet tells me to do, and, you know, masquerades around as liberalism. Because that's not what liberalism is. It's not authoritarianism. They just redefined it. What I've done is I've looked into not just who the enemy is and their Chinese drones that fly around and all their propaganda, but I looked into what the enemy sees us as and what they want to do to us. Just like any chess player, you need to be playing against yourself to beat your enemy. So that's why I've said that they're willing, because nothing has gone their way. The pandemic is a huge box office flop. The food-demic has now been considered a national essential manufacturing, and Trump has taken care of the food. And they were rerouting truckers, and the Chinese takeover of the one world government apparatus or consolidation has completely fallen by the wayside. And there's a fight in the South China Sea between Australia and China, and Taiwan and us there with them. But the next move and the last move, which is why they need these riots to demonize whites, is they're willing to sacrifice, I truly believe, Barack Obama, make him a martyr, and have Michelle Obama be America's widow, like Jackie O.
Oh my God.
Seal the legacy of Barack Obama, and have no one question all his Obamagate crimes that are now coming out. Martyr him, make him a martyr. So if you speak out against him, you're disrespecting the dead and you're racist. And play that off into September, riding into an October surprise of Michelle Obama saying, oh, well, on second thought, I am going to run to honor my husband's legacy, which she's currently doing. And I say that because she already has a CPAC called Help Elect Michelle Obama for 2020. And she has her PR firms putting surveys out there in Newsweek. And of course she's saying, oh, no, I don't want to do it. Of course she's going to say that. I've done PR. I know how PR works. She's doing it. And guess what? Joe Biden didn't just have dementia and say stupid things like, well, you're not black if you don't vote Democrat.
Right. Yes.
The man is not. My grandfather had dementia. He never even said a quarter of the stupid things Joe Biden said. Yeah. To me, there's some acting there, Michael. There's some acting in there.
Well, we'll jump into that in a moment here, but I think, Mike, were you going to say something about the economy?
I just wanted to say,
go ahead, brother.
When I think about Michelle Obama,
oh my,
or should I say Michael Obama, as Jim says.
Oh goodness.
Hey, that's a widow you're talking about. I get
so nervous if she were to run, be it for vice president or for any political. I do not trust him, whatever he is, she is. I could only see that everybody would be, oh, it's Michelle, it's the Obamas, they're back. You know, we had to deal with the re-election of Bush, the son. We had to deal with the possible rerunning of another Clinton. And now we've got to potentially be concerned with another Hussein Obama. I mean,
that's ridiculous, right?
Huh?
I said it's ridiculous, right?
It's ridiculous. And on top of that, oh, Lord, I just can't believe that we're being placed under such a sticky situation. I swear to you, I can't. For Americans that don't see this and all this nonsense, this corruption of politics that's going on, I mean, how could you not see it? Right?
Well, you know what it is? The old saying of the bigger the lie, the greater the sell. You know, you don't see what's right in front of you on your nose because you don't want to believe it. A lot of people, a lot of millennials have been indoctrinated through college, through pop culture, through this self-inflicted narcissism via social media. A lot of people's identity, their foundation, their world revolves around this liberalism, which is really globalism. And Obama, you got to understand, had 8 years to indoctrinate the world really into identity politics. So if someone doesn't identify with Dean Ryan, and you don't like the way I talk, I dress, or whatever it is, then anything I say, no matter the validity, it means absolutely nothing to them. It falls upon deaf ears because it's identity politics. It's cultural Marxism at its finest, masquerading around in college campuses through these communist professors that have infiltrated our education system starting in the 60s and have had, how many decades now to indoctrinate us? Because that was the plan. You know, this whole global warming thing, it came from the Club of Rome in 1968. It's a never-ending war and a value-added tax on every single citizen worldwide. So these people have had time to take us down, bring us to our knees, deindustrialize us, make everything a third world country, get rid of our sovereignty, get rid of all the racial makeup of your land, your culture. And now's their time. They're making their move. The ID 2020, the Bill Gates, all the technocrats are out there. They're using China because China has endless amount of cannon fodder they call people, but they're making their move. And the one problem they've had, the one fork in the road, has been America. And if you want to talk about the beachhead of it, is Donald Trump, who has flipped the script on the New World Order, and they are lunatic, raving mad.
By the way,
no doubt.
Yes.
But Mr. Ryan, real quick, Michael, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Real quick, Mr. Ryan, do you have any faith that when the election time comes, that we may beat this horrible nonsense that's going on?
Well, you know, they're going to run Hillary. They're not running Biden. Biden is making his racial comments and going to use that or the sex scandal to exit stage left. He's just a placeholder. So Hillary and Michelle they didn't have to go through the debates or deal with all the media scrutiny. They're just gonna, hobble in there, kind of like the people that go to a party but don't arrive till like 11 or midnight.
But Dean, but Dean, I was going to ask you, how sure are you though about Hillary actually going through with this, or being even allowed to go through with this? Are you positive about this?
I am absolutely positive, 100% positive. Okay, but let me say 98%. I want to leave myself 2% of, I want to grade on a curve.
Understood.
But I'm pretty obviously, yes, something could happen. So anything could happen, right?
Sure.
She might get corona, get taken out, or because we're not there. But I'm pretty sure that's the plan. I mean, look, she's got something to say right now. Yesterday, Michael, she just declared anyone against the lockdown a domestic terrorist.
Really?
And then
what?
Yeah. She said that yesterday. We reported on it in the past 24 plus hours. That's what she said. And then all of a sudden the riots happen. And then the stir crazy race baiting celebrities start saying, take down this S, take this down, all this stuff. Yeah, she's planning to run. And let me tell you why. Last Friday, I was validated. I was validated by a high-level contact of mine who got a call from the White House, and they validated everything we said on the Real Deal report. I kid you not. And the word we're getting is the highest chief of the land, Donald Trump himself, does watch our show because he knows it's not really about having millions of listeners and followers and being popular. It's about how effective you are from your what you're saying from your lips to their ears, and they are listening, and they validated that yes, Hillary is planning a run. That's why she is spouting off with her fat mouth, her disgusting, vile creature that she is. She's planning on it, and we've been right on everything we said. And I wish I wasn't right, guys, but you know what? Science fiction is now science fact, and we're living in a science fact. fiction movie.
Oh, my. And of course, I do have audio here of Joe Biden from the interview he did with Charlemagne the God, which is where that quote came from. Let's play the audio.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. Come on. Take a look at the record.
All right, thank you so much.
And that was the wife telling him to wrap up shop.
You know,
yeah,
you gotta ask yourself.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was very strange. A white man telling a black man he's not black unless he votes for him. That's something
you gotta
else.
Ask yourself, like, what did that guy think? The guy who was interviewing him.
Charlemagne the God, I have no idea what he must have been thinking during that verbiage there, but I don't even know what to think there. Biden is nuts. That's what Eyes Wide Shut said in the chat room. I agree. Sleepy, creepy Joe Biden is out of his mind, and I have no idea why he told that black man that he's not truly black unless he votes for him.
Well, to me, it seems on the outskirt of things, it seems very, that's Joe being stupid and what an idiot and he just ruined it. But to me, I look past that and I find it to be very calculated in the sense we're talking about a man that appears stupid but is really an evil son of a bitch behind the scenes. I mean, we literally just found out, Michael, 3 weeks ago, the FBI released a FOIA request of John F. Kennedy Jr.'s files.
Wait a minute, you just described George Bush, by the way.
Oh, I make that mistake often since he really fits that definition for many things.
Oh boy!
But it just literally said, Michael, that in these files that were released by the FBI, that Joe Biden was trying to kill the son of JFK.
Really?
He was trying to kill John, and that was in the files. That was in the Freedom of Information Act. He was trying to kill John F. Kennedy Jr. in the 90s and had death threats that were credible. John F. Kennedy Jr. had to surround himself with security to protect him from then Senator Joe Biden, who was really doing the dirty work for a Hillary Clinton, because there was a seat that was open, a U.S. Senate seat in New York that was open in the year 2000, and that seat was supposedly John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to make a bid to run for the Senate of New York, which he would have done very well. But somebody else got that seat instead, and that person was Hillary Rodham Clinton. And they allegedly had him killed in that plane crash by a missile. That was brought to light by a great book called The Clintons' War on Women by Roger Stone, which put a target on his back, hence why he's gone through everything he has the past several years. But John F. Kennedy Jr. would have been a great president because he was going to avenge his father's death. And I now believe that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. But to get back to Biden, I think what Biden was doing was calculated.
I see.
To then get blacks back on the Democrat ticket when they run a Michelle Obama, who will be the African American woman that will lure them back in when they announce her bid later this year.
Well, if that happens, that's insane. And if that does happen, I will have another seizure, my friend. I'm telling you, America doesn't want Hillary around. No one wants that. Hell, not even Bill wanted that.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I don't think Bill wanted that either.
I have a question for you guys.
Jump in there, Mike.
How is it possible for a potential, or in this case, a candidate running for president? How is it possible? I mean, isn't there a cutoff line? How can when what the hell's his name? When Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, when he jumped in to be a part of the Democratic presidential candidates, he bought his way in. He spent something like $450 million to get into the race, and in the end, he ended up getting completely destroyed as they tore him apart on that stage. The other Democrat candidates tore him apart. Now, my question is, how is it legal, or where are the rules for presidential candidates that can just come in and go out? I thought you had to really, well, I got to be honest, I don't know how it's done, but I thought there was some sort of a formality.
Okay. Sure. Let me explain. Tom Perez, the head of the DNC, he just changes the rules, the superdelegate rules, everything at a drop of a hat, a whim. He did it to keep what's her name, the congresswoman out of Hawaii that was running too, Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
He did. Yeah, he would change rules to keep her out of the debates. I mean, they were treating her like Ron Paul. So when Bloomberg came around, who's also, by the way, I should mention, a great sympathizer and fan of the Chinese Communist Party, not my words, his, saying
really?
they do, quote, a good job of taking care of their people, unquote. He bought himself in, and the reason he got in was to just run endless amount of ads that were anti-Trump, because that's all they're running on right now. They're anti-Trump no matter what. They have no policy, because a lot of these people are guilty of financial crimes. They're guilty of crimes against humanity, and they're guilty of sex crimes against children, which, by the way, is on the IG report that came out of the DOJ of Anthony Weiner's laptop. It does say Hillary Clinton's crimes against children on that report, which is gravely misunderreported in the media, and certainly the independent media, which I'm, a little disappointed in, but it is going to happen. And when that falls, Michael, let me tell you, anyone that identifies with the Democrat Party, when the Epstein crimes and the children crimes come out, those people, we need to ostracize them and not invite them to our holiday gatherings.
That's true. And I'm glad you brought up Jeffrey Epstein, because that's what me and Mike were talking about before the show started, that there's a Netflix documentary about one Jeffrey Epstein. And Mike, I think you saw it all, right?
I watched the whole thing. It was really fascinating.
Yeah, I have not seen the whole thing, but I know the story very well. And, Dean and Mike, I've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein for a long time, even before I even had a show. And one of the things that always bothered me a little bit about Donald Trump was his affiliation to one Jeffrey Epstein. That's always been something that's been in the back of my head, or mind, rather.
Sure. Okay. Well, so, Trump participated in the takedown of Epstein. Epstein was a very protected man, but you got to understand, Epstein was a very popular guy in that area.
Oh, very.
This was in a time that nobody was thinking, anything of these brownstone type of operations, which are you invite people over, you bug your rooms, and then you give that information to an intel agency, and then you perform blackmail.
That's what
during that time.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's what was going on.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what Jeffrey Epstein was. I think he was just someone in the chat room already said it. They said Epstein Mossad agent. I was trying not to think that way for the longest time, but given all the evidence that we've seen over the years, I'm led to believe that he worked for some government. Maybe he is a Mossad agent or another government agency he's employed for. That's the only conclusion I've come to. Mike and Dean.
Absolutely. I mean, Hugh Hefner was doing the same damn thing for the CIA. That just came out in that movie, Shadows of. I'm terrible with names tonight. It just came out in a huge document, Out of the Shadows.
Shadows, right.
Right. That just came out, and hence why they've sold the Playboy is no longer. The business sold. They caved all the tunnels that were under there that connected to Jack Nicholson's house, connected to Warren Beatty's house, and here's the big one, connected to Getty's museum, where a lot of nefarious things happened. And we covered this extensively on the Real Deal Report.
That's true.
And where all the tunnels came in, all the underground wars, all the child sex trafficking, the fentanyl from China. They were going through all these tunnels and funnel the kids in there, do the Playboy Mansion, have all the stars and power brokers go in there, and then blackmail them to do what you want, repeat a narrative. Well, Jeffrey Epstein was doing the same thing, but
That's
to
right.
do that, in order to do that, you have to be a big socialite. And you know what? I've been in the entertainment industry on certain levels, and I must have been around a lot of very bad people I wasn't aware of.
Oh, I'm
And,
sure. I'm
you know,
sure.
You rub elbows with some of the most heinous people, you know, and at the time you're not thinking of it because, you know, you're having a drink, you're at a social gathering.
Yeah, well, you
and,
don't know that's what's
yeah,
going on behind closed
yeah.
doors, for sure. I understand that, yeah. I'm with you on that.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just, you know, by proxy, we're probably, you know, if you live in LA or, you know, I've been to Fort Lauderdale. I mean, there's some very colorful people down there. And by proxy, I probably rubbed elbows unknowingly with a lot. And look at Harvey Weinstein.
That's
you know,
right.
if you were an actor and Harvey Weinstein hired you and maybe you just did a movie or you were at a social gathering with him and that was it.
Well, what do you
Somebody
say,
say, hey,
Dean?
you
Dean, let me just jump in really quickly and say, what do you make of those individuals out there who are saying, well, Epstein, what's his name? Jesus,
Weinstein.
Weinstein. There we go. What do you make of those individuals out there that are saying Weinstein didn't really do anything bad? These women knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew what was going to happen, and now they're complaining. What do you make against those sort of arguments that we're hearing from all sorts of individuals out there too?
Well,
It's called
if
the
the argument's
casting
being
couch,
made
by the way.
The casting
you
couch,
know,
right, Mike? You're right.
right, by you know, A-listers, they got dirt on them too, you know, on their own person. So it's in their best interest to kind of water down and pacify the Weinstein situation because God knows what Meryl Streep has done in her background, or Tom Cruise
Oof.
in his background, which I've heard some stories. It's not good. So yeah, of course they're going to say that, and it's a very scary thing. But you know, after reading the court report of Weinstein, one of the eyewitnesses, the victim, said he looked like a hermaphrodite down there. That might be frightening.
Oh yeah, that's the thing of nightmares in my book.
Well, you know,
I'm having one right now, actually.
Go ahead, Mike.
In the show that I was watching on Netflix about Jeffrey Epstein. Why are we forgetting names tonight?
We just keep forgetting.
It's bad, man. I've been forgetting names for days, and that's the real pandemic right there.
It's COVID-19, Mike. It's in the air.
So while I was
information
watching,
overload, and I might add too, as you're saying this, Mike, the Epstein documentary is on the television right now in front of me.
Oh my God.
yeah. So I think I was watching episode 3 when they mentioned that on his island in the Virgin Islands, he had. This is where all the orgies used to take place, or allegedly.
Right.
They used to invite all their high profile people, and they were talking about and even showed one room. I don't know if this was a simulated, you know, dramatization, whatever you want to call it, but they showed one room that had like, I don't know, I'm going to say off the top of my head, 15, 20 different monitors that were monitoring bedrooms, bathrooms, showers, all across the land. The island that he owned, I believe, was something like, don't quote me on this, I'm going to say 12 acres worth of land, you know, in an island. And he had cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So what you guys are saying about the possibility of him getting dirt on other people. For example, what was the name of the prince from England?
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so he comes to the
island.
The island, and you know, to Epstein's island, and apparently he quote. I'm just saying what they said on side.
Oh,
on
he
the
really
show, quote,
he really liked it there, Mike.
Right. He allegedly, according to what they said, quote, he raped her, quote. So if they're videotaping this guy doing this, could you imagine,
Ooh,
the kind of kickback that they would get for doing something like that?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
You there? Hello.
Oh, did we lose Dean?
All right.
Oh, we might have lost Dean here.
I can hear him.
You guys there? Can you hear me?
Oh, now we hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, there's a
Oh, now his reception got really bad there.
just taking out my Bluetooth or taking it constantly on a daily basis.
Oh, the Bluetooth, that's what it is, yeah. Yeah.
It just never.
Oh, no, we lost him due to the Bluetooth, folks.
Uh-oh.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't really hear all the question, but I think I heard Prince Andrew rape allegations with the 17-year-old that he's in the picture with from 2001. And so this thing does happen. Epstein does have the goods on people. Apparently the federal government or DOJ has all those tapes, and it's just a matter of when do you leak it out. My guesstimation would be anywhere in the October surprise, and do it in a fashion of the WikiLeaks of releasing things through, our information got compromised and now this third person is leaking it, and there's nothing we can do because if it's leaked by Trump himself, then it looks like, well, there's a motive. How true can it be, right? So you have to do it third person party. And so these things happen. I mean, look at in Florida, Bubba the Love Sponge did the same thing. He's a radio host. Did the same thing to Hulk Hogan and gave it to Gawker magazine, Gawker.com. And, who would have thought that you have a friend who has his house bugged. I would even make the case that Charlie Sheen had his house bugged too, because he did a lot of those orgies and parties and prostitutes,
Hold the phone really quickly here, Dean. I gotta ask you, I hope you didn't see that adult video with Hulk Hogan himself.
Did I see it?
I hope you didn't see it, is what I was saying.
Oh, you hope?
Yeah.
I think I saw a still frame of it.
Okay, thank God.
I don't think I would rent that at the video store.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I grew up with Hulk Hogan. It's the last thing I want to see.
You don't want to see that. Trust me. I almost made the mistake of almost running into that video myself. Thank God I didn't.
Why, Michael?
Well, because it's Hulk Hogan, of all people. I don't want to see
weird.
Yeah, I don't want to see a sunburned gentleman there getting off on with someone's wife there. But yes, go ahead, Dean.
Cool. But these things happen.
Oh no, we were losing you there, Dean. That Bluetooth of yours.
Yeah, nothing works. I've been having this problem for weeks, and nothing seems to work. But that's the story of life out here in LA with the slowdown and everything.
Yeah, it's okay though. It's okay.
But you can hear me now. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay,
perfect. You keep fading in and out.
Oh, I keep fading in and out. Okay, so maybe I got to have this on speaker. This is a pain in the ass. All right, here we go.
There you go.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, it goes back to the Franklin scandal. It even goes back to the Marilyn Monroe days where she was a honeypot. She was the CIA sex kitten that slept with Bobby, slept with JFK, and slept with Fidel. She was being used because when you sleep with someone and you're a honeypot, you do something called information gathering, and you give it to your handler, who gives it to the intel operatives that need it and want it. And that was her mission. And when they were done with her, they were done with her. And you can make the case that she didn't kill herself. She had a hair appointment the next morning, and that was not in her plans. But that's a whole nother show.
Right.
These things happen all the time. Look at the Franklin scandal with in Omaha, Nebraska, at Boys Town, that all boys school, and funneling the kids there to Washington D.C. for Bush Sr. and Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld and all them in the 80s. So this stuff happens all the time. It's just now that the nail in the coffin is coming down on these demonic people, and they're going to be dealt with accordingly, if not by the Trump administration, but by some very pissed off people that I know that will do it themselves.
Definitely. And of course, we are coming to a close very soon here, Dean, so I don't have to torture you any longer here with the phone.
I got one more question.
Yeah, jump in there, Mike.
Mr. Ryan, do you think, and this is a pretty big question, do you think there is a possibility that the country itself, the United States of America, could be headed for a second civil war?
Uh-oh, we might have lost him.
That was a tough question. I knocked him right off the air.
I know, he's gone now completely.
Think?
No, we lost him completely.
We lost. Damn it.
Yeah, his phone was not holding up very well there. But yes, a very good question there, Mike.
What do you think, Michael?
I think we might see something like that eventually. The way things are playing out right now, sure.
It's a scary thought, right? It
is. But that's the way we are seeing America headed right now, into some sort of a civil conflict. Unfortunately, that's sort of what things are like right now, and what we're seeing on the news as well. We're seeing a civil uprising of sorts, Mike.
You know,
in my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it appears like, right?
Well, here's the thing. Based on what you just said, I'm going to say about a year, maybe 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, like after Trump became president, and all the shit that was hitting the fan with his administration from all the opposers, was a radio show host had said he felt that the country is already in a civil war, but what you would consider to be, for lack of a better term, a cold civil war.
A cold war, right.
Yeah, no guns, no firing, but we are in a war per se, which is why the country has become so divided between left and right politically.
Right, and no, I could agree with you on that. Definitely, that's quite accurate. But what we're seeing right now, especially with India and China, they are also in a sort of Cold War scenario as we speak.
Who, the people of China?
Yeah, India and China. There's a conflict going on. Dean, what's going on? I'm sorry. I hope you can hear us now.
Oh, now I can. Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Very nice. Thanks for returning, Dean. And we got cut off there. And Mike had asked you if we were headed towards a sort of civil war. And I had relayed that. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. We're seeing all this conflict going on. Different factions fighting with one another, the Republicans and Democrats and other third parties out there also inciting this conflict with both sides. And I also tagged in India and China, who are also in a sort of Cold War scenario as we have this conversation, Dean and Mike.
Let me just say, based on what you just said, Michael.
Sure.
I disagree with you slightly in the sense that I feel very strongly that the Republican Party and those on that side are not doing the we're more on a defensive end, whereas and this is just me speaking, I feel that the political Democrat Party is at war with the Republicans. Let's face it, the Republicans, when they hit back, they hit you with a tap or slap on the wrist. When the Democrats come at you, they come at you with a fucking axe right in the head. And I think that they are on the attack, whereas the Republicans don't fight back very nice. I will give credit where credit is due, and that is our president, Donald Trump, has ripped the holy hell out of what's been going on. And I want to see justice where justice needs to be seen. And that is by putting these bastards away for a very long time for what they are doing to this country. So once again, I say this. I don't think that we are at war with each other. I think the Democrat Party is at war with everyone else, particularly Republicans and those who are free-thinking individuals like ourselves.
Well, I think we can all agree on one thing: we're in some kind of war, no matter which way you look at it.
It seems like it.
Yeah, there is a war going on. Just pick one, the one you want to join. But with that said, I would make the case. Let me just try to consolidate, because I think the both of you have very valid points, and I would love to talk about India and China war, but please don't let me forget. I would say the Democrat Party, for starters, is in a war with itself, with the progressive end versus the establishment end, like Joe Biden and nervous Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
So I think there's a civil war right there, and there are people that will never vote for Joe Biden. There are people that never wanted to vote. They felt betrayed by Bernie Sanders from 2016. Certainly weren't supporting him this time around, and the ones that did felt ultimately betrayed by him, which, by the way, he total shill. If you read the WikiLeaks, he took a deal. They had blackmail on him for financial crimes in his book deals, 3 summer homes. Total actor, fraud, communist, wannabe shill.
Hypocrite.
Now, thank you, hypocrite, yes. So there's a war right there. Now, this is something I've learned. Is the lunacy of the left, the carnival circus-like nature that we have seen, I am now believing is all a charade of distraction. Yes, they want to get Trump out. Yes, but here was the true coup d'etat the entire time has been in the GOP with the neocons like Lindsey Graham, Susan Collins, little Marco Rubio, Mittens Romney have been working behind the scenes to get rid of Donald Trump, where Donald Trump couldn't have pointed it out directly because a lot of them are senators that he needs seats for. So let me give a prime example. This was confirmed to us at the Real Deal Report, the show I did with Jim Fetzer and Mike Barra. This was confirmed to us last Friday. The reason Trump cannot go headfirst, take down the CDC, stop this wicked, demonic vaccine agenda is because, for this very reason, over 50% of the GOP senators currently filling the seats in Senate are financially tied to vaccine makers, tied to the CDC, have very well invested interest in seeing out this vaccine agenda. Now, if Trump takes this down and exposes the CDC and this whole thing, guess what? He loses those seats in the Senate. Guess who fills them? The Democrats, and the Democrats will stop at nothing to do Russian collusion 2.0, 3.0, Ukraine 3.0, 4.0, impeachment part 2, impeachment part 3, impeachment of Ivanka Trump, and she's not even elected. I mean, they will just impeach everything and everyone connected to Donald Trump if those seats they get, and that's what they want. And if they want that, not only will his agenda not be fulfilled and legislation he wants passed, but you can guarantee even if he won the second term, he's going to be a lame duck and nothing will get done. He'll be on the defense for the next 4 years, and then they'll get back in the White House. So it's a cluster, you know what he's dealing with. But let me tell you what the plan is, just so the people know. And Trump always beats his chest loud to say he's going to bomb this or we're going to war with that or, I carry a big stick, because he does it to smoke out the rats in his cabinet, in his circle, to see what their intentions are, show their hand like John Bolton, and then root them out, get rid of them, deal with them swiftly and hard. And that's what he's going to do with the GOP senators. But he's going to push vaccine choice because vaccines, let's be honest with ourselves, bring in billions and billions of dollars. He's going to loot the money in the second term, take it, give it to the Treasury, and then dismantle once and for all the CDC as of March, from what we're hearing, as of March 2021, dismantle them like he did 5G Huawei by the Chinese, kick them and boot them out, and we are free people, once again, that are not poisoning our children and our adults and our elderly. That's the plan right there.
Amazing.
Wow.
Now, Dean,
Now, hang on one second, Michael. Hang on one second. Very important. You just said, Mr. Ryan, you just said Lindsey Graham is also an anti-Trumper?
Well, Lindsey Graham just said, we're not going to call Obama and investigate his Obama crimes. Lindsey Graham wanted to go into Syria. Lindsey Graham wanted to go into Iran and North Korea. He has money invested, and they've got some blackmail on him. And, you know, the word on the street, and hence why they don't want Michael Flynn back in, because Michael Flynn has the documents of who and how ISIS was created. Let me tell you, Obama, Hillary, and Lindsey Graham, who is best friends with the other creator of ISIS, John McCain, heavily involved in it, never thought this day would come. He's sweating bullets because if Obama goes down for creating that ISIS intelligence agency group, Lindsey Graham goes down because his paws are all over that, and that's why he ain't investigating Obama. And that's what he said. He said, I'm not going to call him. We don't want to investigate. We just want to move on. Of course you do, Lindsey. Of course you do. You are a wolf in sheep's clothing, pal.
I did not know that, Mr. Ryan. I am my jaw just fell on the floor right now. I thought he was a big supporter, even though that they went at it neck to neck in the debates in 2016. I'm shocked. I am effing shocked right now.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual once we start thinking about these sort of things, and going back to when ISIS got so many Toyota trucks as well back in, I believe, what was it, 2015? That was always a little odd to me, Dean.
Well, to be exact, they were Toyota Tundras, Michael, right? Just for the record, but clearly it's the only one I would drive. Yes, they, but you know, everyone's dirty. I mean, look, do you guys remember that little Mormon clandestine family out there on the border that was shot up to the cartels not that long ago? Okay, well, you know, it turns out to be, I'm going to do another groundbreaker here because I'm all about breaking news and just bombshells and just the glass ceiling.
Nice.
Well, it turns out, guys, that the young mother who was in that truck and was shot up was part of what they call the black baby, or the black market for selling babies. The black baby market, whatever you want to call it.
Really?
That Mormon sector just wasn't some offshoot. They just wanted to go, you know, celebrate the Bible near Tijuana. They were there because these girls who were part of sex trafficking were birthing babies, selling them with no birth certificates, no Social Security or anything, or any record of being born, who then get sold for their organs. They get sold to adoption or sex slavery, and so on and so on. Well, that one girl is not only seen in a photo, which I've seen with my own eyes with Barack Obama. She happened to be it's a big one. She happened to be connected to Mittens Romney and his wife, who are eyeballs deep into the sex trafficking, not just Ukraine scandal with Burisma, but they're heavily involved in that. And let me just say, the next big religious shoe to drop that's going to be just as bad, if not worse, than the Catholic Church is the Church of Latter-day Saints, and it's long overdue.
Oh, my.
That is an industry right there full of secrecies, right up there with Scientology. And that's why there's been a lot of earthquakes in Utah, all the deep underground military bases that were hiding these children out underground. It's all going to come out. It's all happening. Mitt Romney's not sleeping well. He looks like a psychopath. He makes Mike Pence look like a normal guy. I mean,
there's something wrong with Mike Pence. I'm sorry. I don't care what side you're on. Something's off about that man. I don't know what it is, but Mike Pence, he's like not human.
What gave it away? What?
He's like an android.
Yes, he totally is an android, and I would beg the question to my fellow viewers and listeners. I haven't seen any, but if I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong and show me, email me, message me. But has anyone seen a Trump-Pence 2020 sign anywhere? I mean, it's almost election time.
Wow.
I'd like to know.
Good question.
I'd like to know, Michael.
No,
because
I haven't actually.
You haven't.
I haven't.
I have.
Because he's not. Wait, you have.
I have.
Yes. I live in Pennsylvania, Mr. Ryan, and I have seen on some people's lawns, I've seen a lot of, those little signs that they stick in the lawns, and they've said Trump and Pence. And
I haven't
tell you,
seen that out here, to be honest with you.
Well, you're in California. What do you expect? Everybody hates him out there.
Well, no shit. But I'm just saying. But no shit. The thing is, I actually did see Trump signs though during the upcoming election out here though. But now I don't see any of that.
Okay, so maybe that neighborhood that our lovely co-host might have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I have been in Texas.
Very much.
Well, I'm just, I'm assuming. I have not seen a Trump-Pence 2020 sign because I happen to believe, like many scholars of our time here, I don't think Pence is going to be on the Trump ticket for 2020. And I happen to believe that the Trump White House had the traitor in it the whole time, and I happen to believe that was Michael Pence. And I can make the case to you, and it's right out there in the open. The Russian collusion investigation with Mueller had full-on participation from not only the chief of staff of Mike Pence, but from Mike Pence himself, who set up Flynn and helped set up with Nikki Haley and Reince Priebus. 2017 was all about to take him down immediately at all costs. Was setting up a 25th Amendment to take Trump out with another traitor, Steve Bannon, who brought in Pence. And I actually know the story as to how that actually happened. Bannon, who's highly compromised, was financed by Jeffrey Epstein, who's Netflix star. Financed Bannon's film company. Brought in Pence in Indiana. Told the pilot of the plane, the Trump plane, when he used to have Trump on the side of it, to stall, say its mechanics. Had Pence in the wings in the lobby. Brings him in. Convinces Donald that, hey, we need that religious demographic. This is the guy to do it. Gets in there. It was a setup the whole time. Pence was the traitor. Pence was the rat. And I think he's under indictment, just like Anthony Fauci.
Oh, my goodness.
Under indictment. Wow. Under indictment.
Well, that's a stunning revelation there. And hopefully we see all these things come to fruition as we make our way through 2020. And Dean, I must say, it's been a blast to talk to you. I can talk to you for another hour easily, but of course I don't want to take up too much of your time here, Dean. But my goodness, that was pretty amazing. I hope you had fun here tonight with us, Dean.
Well, Mike, I love coming on the show. I know it's been a few years, and it was nice to meet your co-host, and you guys have wonderful viewers, and I'm sure we share the same demographics. And Fetzer loves you guys, so you have to come on our show sometime, and just to fill in people. We're doing our thing 7 days a week now, and we actually got a good. This Saturday we got a great special we're doing on the royal family, on how they're being dethroned right before our eyes. It's our UK special, so we'll have the UK royal music in the background.
Love that.
Masterpiece Theater. So
yeah.
So we have some fun too, as you can tell. We're not all doom and gloom, and so, I'm on Dean Ryan TV on YouTube, and I do it with Mike Barrow, who's just wonderful. He's got his channel. We all put it out there, and I do articles. I do a lot of illustration and art and cartoons and political cartoons and so forth, memes. So, come and check us out. And I hope to be back on again in a better climate with better news.
You got it, man. You got it.
Back, Mr.
Absolutely.
Ryan.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. And of course, we will definitely join you one of these days here, whenever you'd like. Me, Mike, and you, and our boy, Jim Fetzer, the Freight Train, and of course, Mike Barra.
It would be our pleasure to have you guys. So once again, thank you guys. Have a great night, and let's win this war at the end of the day.
You got it, brother. See you soon, and mahalo, my friend. Thank you so much for being a part of the program.
Thank you,
right.
Mr. Ryan.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
And there he goes, boys and girls, Dean Ryan. And that was fantastic. It was nice to speak to Dean yet again. And it's been a while since he's been on the program, but of course it's not his first rodeo here. Not at all.
Wow.
Pretty crazy,
Shocking.
right? Almost as
Oh.
crazy as Paula White.
Restoration of this great nation, the United States of America. For Psalm 71:2 says, "In your righteousness
There she is,
deliver
Mike.
us and rescue us. Incline your ear and save us."
Can you believe it?
Psalm 107 says,
Yes.
"You deliver us out of distress and out of destruction. Your word will not."
What was Don thinking about that? The Don.
I'll tell you, Michael, what is happening?
People
to the
lost
world.
their goddamn minds. That's what happened.
People have lost their goddamn minds, bro. I'm telling you, what is happening to this world? Not just the country, the world. Like, did you ever? I mean, really?
No, not this scenario that we're currently facing, Mike. This is all new to me, and that's why I've been telling you and the listeners out there, Mike. It's all about adapting and evolving. The fact that tomorrow is not guaranteed, Mike.
That's right.
You don't know when all this is going to end, and you sure as shit don't know if your job is going to be there tomorrow, boys and girls.
You know, Michael, you got to ask yourself. Let's just say, back up 4 years. What would have happened had Clinton won the election?
Oh, I don't know though. That's.
I mean, where would we be right now?
I can't say. I don't even. I can't even think about that. I can't even contemplate that right now.
Right.
I have no idea.
Neither could I.
have no idea what would have happened. I do know this pandemic would have happened regardless of who was sitting in that chair.
Agreed. But I mean,
would have happened.
based on everything we know now about the Clintons,
Knowing what we know
mean,
now,
and as well as like other politicians, you got to ask yourself, where would we have been, or where would we be now if if things had taken a turn?
true.
My goodness, it's really shocking. I mean, I'm a patriot. You know that.
I know
love
you're a
my
patriot.
country.
I know that. That's true. But of course, one should always remember not to put faith into politicians. I grew up in a time, Mike, where we hated all the king's men, and I still carry that notion today. Maybe I'm still carrying a adolescent sort of a mindset. Maybe it's a bit nihilistic to say the very least. But I've never been one for the king's men, Mike.
No, I agree with you. I mean, as far back as when in my early 20s.
It's the
when I
punk
first
rock in me,
started-
Mike. It's the punk rocker in me.
Exactly. I was just going to say the same thing, Michael. When I started in music when I was 21, 22, I mean, I focused on two things, politics and religion, and that's what I
Right.
wrote and performed.
Well, that's
my
why we get
music
along
to.
so good, Mike.
Right.
Yeah.
But all right. So fast forward to now. I mean, all right. Let's be honest. I really, when 2016's election was coming about, I was fed up. I had it with Hussein Obama. I had it with him.
A lot of people
was sick
did.
of Clinton. Right.
A lot of people
Well,
were.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying a lot of people were, and he said he was going to change the foundation of America, and he did.
And he did, and that's what bothers me. He's
He
like,
kept his word.
yeah, I guess he
He
did.
kept his word. How rare is that? I mean, finally, he kept his word. I mean, for better or for worse, he did say what he was going to do, and that's what he did.
It's shocking, man. I really am shocked at what is happening to both this country, which I love very, very much, and the world.
Times are changing. That's what it is, Mike. Got to adapt and evolve, Mike. No matter what. That's the grim. That's the grim reality, though.
All right. What you're saying is, excuse me, is adapt. I get it, but I mean, how much adapting could one do when you're forced into doing it?
Well, you
There's
have
one-
to, though. That's all about that's all about how we survive, Mike.
Okay, but I think a lot of people are going to be plenty pissed off.
Well, of course.
If you change the basic essentials of this country that have been going the way they've been going for decades.
And that's why I'm saying the old way might not be there. That life might not be the way it used to be once all this is said and done. That's the reality that we face, Mike, and that's what I've been trying to convey to everyone out there.
It's a scary concept.
I know it's shit. Trust me, I don't like it either. But that's always been a part of life, adapting and evolving. That's always been a part of life. And even though many people are struggling out there, we all have to figure a new way out. Because again, things are not going to be promised once everything comes back to quote unquote normal.
I agree.
It's
I understand
terrible.
What you're saying.
It's terrible to say that, but, and I know it frustrates a lot of Americans out there. I'm sure hearing this and saying, well, your job might not be there when you go back. I'm sure I'd be pissed off too. And I am angry for a lot of people out there because I don't think that's fair. But life isn't fair. And all this, I don't think anyone deserved to get wiped away due to some virus that came from China or maybe in America. I don't know. We don't know.
Agreed. It's just frustrating.
It is. And I'm with you on that. It is frustrating. But shit, you just can't be down in the dumps forever. And that's what I'm trying to convey to everyone out there listening as well. Don't just stay there in a confused state of mind. You have to sort of quote unquote pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That's what the conservatives love to say on Fox News all the time. So I'm thinking that's what America needs to do right now. We have to sort of take this time and sort of rewire ourselves to sort of readapt to all these changes in our environment. And it's shit. But I mean, that's what we have to do. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. What just scares me is that
it is scary. Yeah.
We've had a few guests on the program who have said things like, for example, let me just say, like 9/11 being a conspiracy where 3,000 people, Americans, were killed for some other issue that we may never know. People like victims of the CCP virus are dying and dead because of a potentially alleged political move between China and or America. So here's what I'm getting at is that how can I adapt and think, everything's going to be peachy keen in the end when there's a possibility somebody's going to fly a plane into a building and kill me and everybody I know simply because of a political agenda.
Well, that's why life is not fair.
Indeed.
People have their own agenda, Mike, and we are not a part of that agenda most of the time. And Lilith says in the chat room, things change. Remember the Industrial Revolution and how technology changed jobs. And she's right.
Yep. But you got to admit, and with all due respect to the listener who said that, I respect what you're saying. But this is a little different, I think, because there's death being spread about. And it's like, if you get in my way, we will take you. And I don't mean that by me personally. I'm saying the politicians are saying, you get in our way, we will take you down.
We'll kill you.
And that's what frightens me.
Yeah, boy, that is something to be cognitive as well. And again, this is the time where Americans have to realize that nothing is guaranteed, that you might have to go into a completely new avenue of work. That might be something that has to happen.
Yeah, very, very frightening.
It's shitty, but it's complete garbage, but that's the reality, Mike.
Yes, I understand.
We might not have that job tomorrow. Shit is terrible. Really? Shit is just awful for a lot of Americans out there. And I do understand the frustration and a lot of the people out there, because I know plenty of people who've lost everything too. I know some people that are now homeless.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, they're walking around the streets.
And meanwhile, you got California releasing how many prisoners?
So many. Thousands.
Like, why? Why?
Or was it hundreds?
I mean, why? I just don't understand why.
Well, because of COVID-19, Mike, they don't want to infect anyone. Yet they're transferring more prisoners from Chino, I believe, out here. Chino, California. They are transferring these individuals to other holding facilities around the country. And that just reminds me, look at all the people that fled New York. You don't think those people are not infected with something, perhaps? I think some of them might be, and they're out there being spread around in the country. Here in the United States, they're being shipped around. They're being moved around, finding a new place of residency. And, well, maybe they coughed your way, Mike, and now you are infected with someone that gave you the second strain of coronavirus.
Well, as a point, I can see what you're saying, but I cannot guarantee you that's not the case. What concerns me, first of all, I want you to know New Jersey sucks. I lived in New Jersey
you don't have
for
to tell
all my
me.
life.
I know it sucks there.
I lived in Jersey all my life. Okay. I think what I'm trying to say is the reason I left is because of the corruption.
I was going to say because of Chris Christie, right?
Not really, no. He had nothing to do with the reason I left. I mean, yeah, there are corrupt politicians, high taxes. I believe there's a death tax. You know, you die, you got to pay taxes. There was, high rent, high insurance. I came to Pennsylvania, and all right, I'm lucky enough to live where I live. As I said, I live in a gated community. I'm lucky if I see 20 cars come down my road in a day. Beautiful area, woodlands, animals, no pollution, no air pollution, no noise pollution. I don't have cops and sirens whizzing down my street all the time. I left Jersey specifically because I could not take it anymore. The big city was getting to me. And I gotta say, I don't know how people are living in places like California. Same situation, high taxes, high rent, situations where they're releasing prisoners. I mean, my goodness, this is absolutely insanity.
No, well, my situation's a little bit different. I'm not in a big city at all. I'm in the countryside, in the outskirts here in California.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like it is in San Diego or Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, all right. And that's great. That's
it's
cool.
A little
I can
different.
Respect that.
Yeah, it's just a little different here. It's not like a major city, but I mean, the COVID cases are on the rise here, just like it is in lots of other smaller towns finally facing COVID-19 as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild situation indeed, boys and girls, and I know many of you out there are tired of being locked down. Definitely. It's not a pleasant situation for anyone, for sure. I'm sure many of you out there have even gained a lot of weight during this whole lockdown. Lots of you out there looking like radio guys now. Packing the pounds out there, right?
I know I gained a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I've gained a little weight. I haven't gained like 5 to 10 pounds or anything like that, but got a little bit of the quarantine weight on me as well. But luckily for me, Mike, I'm able to lose weight really quickly.
Well, you're a young man.
I'm still young. I'm still young. Very active.
Yeah, you got that stamina going. And
that's true.
Drinking beer. I mean, that's
Drinking beer during the show. Sure. I'm not very responsible. Very true. I'm rarely ever sober. But it's amazing. It's amazing that I'm able to do this show, though. I mean, wow. I should be given some sort of an award.
You should.
A gold medal. The Michael Phelps lungs.
That or AA.
No, I'm not a quitter.
No. I mean, you should be doing the AA meeting and be the guy who says, all right, everybody, let's drink.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be allowed. I just thought you would want me to go to AA, and I just thought, no, I couldn't do that. I'm not a quitter.
No, I know.
You couldn't afford that.
Neither am I.
Amazing time. But yes, Mike, I do want to say it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you here yet again, Mike. It's been fun.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And of course, I love being here. So yeah.
No doubt, Mike. Go ahead and plug anything you like before we wrap it up here and shut it down.
Well, thank you. All right, folks, if you're interested in contacting me, you can reach me on my Facebook fan page, which is Facebook.com/hideous Mike, MYKE. If you would like to see my artwork and photography, please go to horribleartwork.com. And I just released my first new t-shirt design today, which has gone up on my website for my, if you're interested in my music and anything like that, you can go to MikeHideous.com. It's MYKE, hideous.com. And I've got the first new shirt that just went up today on the website, which is now available. And there will be one released every couple of days to about a week, just about.
Oy vey.
So, everyone, thank you for listening. Michael, it's a pleasure as always, and we will be talking tomorrow night.
Tomorrow at 5:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Right.
That's right. We go back to normal time.
Yeah, for now.
For now. That's right.
For now.
Once again, thank you so much, Mike, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. You have a great night, and thank you, everyone, for listening. Good night.
Mahalo. And there he goes, boys and girls. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Those of you in the chat room, and of course, our guest, Dean Ryan, and of course, the co-host, Mr. Mike Hideous, the one and only Mr. Mike Hideous. What a tremendous show this was yet again. I had lots of fun. I hope you did too. I hope all of you out there had a cold beverage like I did. That makes the show a lot better. In my personal opinion, perhaps you are not of the same mindset. I wish you were. Once again, thank all of you out there for being a part of the program yet again. Nice to see all of you out there. Asuka, Brett, Victoria, Eyes Wide Shut, Nish, and Christina, I believe, who donated. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you for your contributions. Really appreciate that. And of course, you can get a hold of me during the program if you are not in the chat room via Twitter. Sometimes I'll get a notification and I will respond to you at Michael Decon. Send me a message there if you'd like. And don't forget, if you are a fan, a quote-unquote fan of this program and want to help fund it, that would be appreciated, no doubt. If you want bonus material, that's patreon.com/Michael Decon. And yes, Lilith, thank you, Jesus, no doubt. Thank you to all the mods out there. So thank you so much. And of course, those who simply want to go the PayPal route, if you donate to PayPal any amount, I will give you mostly all the episodes from Patreon, my gift to you. Now you have many ways to donate. Yes, the Patreon. Do that Patreon. Yes, Brooke, indeed. Oh, trust me, it's worth it. Patreon.com/Michael Decon. And of course, international listeners out there, thank you so much. Interesting night yet again. And folks, I hope you hang out with us tomorrow. We will return at our usual time. So much to discuss. Oh yes, once again, stay safe everyone, no matter where you are on this island Earth. I'm Michael Decon, and with that said, the world is a mysterious place, and life itself is a mystery. Until next time, good night everybody.